Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another episode of our鬼谷八荒 Let's Play. As we continue with the Tale of the Phoenix, we are about to tier up. That's really going to be the main focus of this episode, tearing up to the Golden Pill. And we're going to actually go to 2 episodes per week starting next week. So things will pick up pace, hopefully. And for those of you who love the series, hopefully you get to enjoy it. Now we're going to go into this last dungeon here. I already got the materials that's required for the other 3 dungeons. This one, this one, this one. We're just missing the pearl from the East Sea, which will drop in this final zone. There's 4 of these zones on the map in this province. I already did the other 3s off screen. And technically, if you follow this series before, in the earlier version of the Let's Play of the game, I have showcased these dungeons before. But if you're new to the series, then definitely I wanted to save one opportunity for you to see it, because you guys already know how to get these soul stones essentially. And we have all 6, I want to say 5, because the water one was not picked up from the guardian creature, which never spawned for us just yet. I think I grinded for about 8 months of game time in between episodes. It just never spawned. So I ended up going there, farming the fragments, crafting it to about a 53% rarity one. So our total success chance is going to be the average of the purities of your soul stones. The other ones are all between 94% to even 100%. So it should average out pretty decently, and even the percentage is not that high, you're fine, because the worst case scenario from a failed tier up is just a tribulation where you have to take lightning strikes for a period of time, and you can definitely survive that. So this is our last piece. We're just going to showcase this. It's a 120-second defense where we have to protect the turtle guardian here. And all we have to do is talk to him, and he's going to ask you to bring him 3 pieces of tier 4 talent fruits. And since we already maxed out our fire talent back in our sect, I bought the extras, and we can basically trade it for them, because in this zone we can only move up to 150 with the tier 4 fruit, and we already maxed that out. So everything else is just extra, and we have to protect him now. And they will spawn these monsters periodically, including a few minor bosses, usually around 3 during this entire period. And we're just going to summon the giant fire core to protect him while we hunt down some approaching monsters. It's just a good experience opportunity, even though I think I maxed out the experience on all my moves, except for maybe 1 passive. And we obviously will have to grind for new moves between episodes, as we'll tier up this episode and pretty much end it. It might be a short episodes, and then we're gonna learn new moves and come back and, you know, grind again. We want to tier up in our sect because, ooh, here's another mini boss. Let's finish him before he can do some damage. And cooldown is gonna limit what we can do with our ult again, so I'm gonna use my fox, which you might notice have more fox per use on the movement, and also this burning ground is huge because we have additional fox. That's because I got a new spell for that one. We had a blue level spell for it before, and I think I upgraded to purple. But still, like I said, when we do tier up, everything has to basically be reworked, and we will have a new moveset. I'll try to tier up in the sect so we can buy the final manuals that's special to our current sect. And we'll also go to the purple zone at the edge of the map, now that I feel we are pretty much at the tip-top shape of our zone's power level, since we'll be in the golden core, and if we go any higher we'll be going to a different zone. So I think we can approach that one. We can follow some of the main story missions going forward as well, because we haven't solved the 3-legged raven problem back in the first zone, which requires a piece of a wood from a branch of a tree in this current zone, and we haven't dealt with the fish monsters either. So still quite a bit main storyline to do, and we'll be doing those after we tier up. Okay, 120 seconds up, we did get the pearl, and we can now fast travel over to any city with storage, because I've stored everything for safekeeping. So I'm just going to go to my sect. And we're gonna fetch the soul stones, 100% fire, 95% lightning or thunder, 96% wind, 96% earth, 94% wood, and sadly a purple tier 53% water, because that monster guardian never spawned. We have the drop from the big monster that spawns in the Thunder Marsh, we have the other pieces from the other 3 dungeons that we did off screen. And I can probably go sell that later, but we'll worry about that when that time comes. And we do have a few moves ready to learn once we do move on to Jindan, mainly because we've been collecting them from the monster that repeatedly spawns once every 2 years that drops this down in the Thunder Marsh. And I've been getting some other stuff too, as we've been doing quite a bit of farming in between episodes. But we're not interested in that. We're interested in tiering up and learning a new tier up specialty move. So let's see what we can get here. And obviously we'll be using the first tier approach for the best stat growth, using the best ingredients. We'll drop them in, and 89% is the average. Wish us luck. There we go. That went out without a hitch, and we get to pick up a tier up ability, which is very important. So this one is an upgraded version of our current ability. It's orange tier. I think we currently have a purple tier one from the very first tier up we did, which I love. This is whenever in combat, your mana drops below 10%, you get back 80% with the upgrade. Currently it's 70% for us, and all your abilities will regain their cooldown. That's the added benefit here. I don't think our current one does that. And the 10% extra mana for 80%. It's not bad. It's a decent backup because of the cooldown reduction, I think. But we're interested in maybe something else, because right now the 70% boost is really just helping us never healing when we're low mana, because we can just go next dungeon, drop the 10%, and we're back to 70, which is good enough to keep grinding, which is really, really good in terms of saving time in the game. The second one here is called 开心果, or really pistachios, but pistachios in Chinese means the happy fruit or the happy nut. And the reason why it's called that is because the split on the pistachio looks like a smiley face. So that's usually why it's called, and no surprising, it increases the maximum happiness we have for the mood by 50 points. So not just current mood, but maximum mood. And the benefit of mood is that if you stay above 70 points, you don't get negative traits, and when you learn stuff from the manual, you have to spend mood because you're studying. And you have to use objects that improve mood, so things you collect from breakables on maps to improve your mood, and you have interest that gives 80 points or 20 points. We already have 20 point above the maximum 100 from our natural trait selection when we created the character. So our maximum is at 120. I don't think we need to go to 170. It's quite wasteful, and we have plenty of interest item we can use to improve mood, so I feel like this one would just be wasted. Next one, 双灵共生, so 2 souls in harmony. Every time you use your special attack, the right click that uses mana, and your alt, there is a 25% chance of recasting. Oh wow. But the recast ability will only dish out 30% damage and will still spend mana. Oh yeah, it will still spend the mana it should have spent. And there is an upgrade version of this, a red tier one in the future, that's going to be called 三灵共生, or 3 spirits in harmony. And that's going to include channeling spells, movement spells, and transformation spells as well. Oh, no. It just says it can be, okay, it doesn't say what 三灵共生 can do, but I'm assuming it will include your basic attack as well. But it says channeling spells, movement spells, and transformation spells are not counted for this because they can't really recast those. You can't channel 2 flame cones in the same direction, right? The control doesn't work. And if you transform to something, it can't transform you again. And movement, same thing. So basically it only works for things that are not those spells. This is decent for our alt, but not for our special, because our special is a channeling spell, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I'll think about it. 双修大法. Dual meditation. Anytime we dual meditate, we gain 30% extra experience, and they will gift us an item. Wow. Master of Dual Meditation. So we're basically going to whore ourselves out for items. And 30% experience gain. It doesn't say Dao point gain though. But it's interesting. We are stunningly beautiful as a character creation aspect. So a lot of people do come to us asking opportunity to dual meditate. So, and if we get asked on a date, we can dual meditate 3 times. This one's tempting. 练气学徒. We get 20 point of crafting or forging talent. And our maximum fortitude goes up by 500 points. Means we can use items in combat. Things like the horn. I think this is a tad weak because we can gain those 20 points just by farming creatures that spawn periodically. So I don't think I need that. And 42 points, I don't really value it. It depends on how often you use item in battle. Given that we have this, which gives us 70% mana back, I never have to eat mana meds in battle. So our fortitude typically is pretty high. Ooh, Hua Wu. So basically this, the translation is going to be a bit difficult. It's kind of like Hua Wu. I would translate it as kind of transforming items. So essentially for each of the artifacts you have equipped, maximum of 5, right? Because you have 5 slots. You gain 7% max health. So your artifacts is kind of transmogging you to become stronger in essence. So you can have maximum 35% extra max health when you equip 5 different artifacts. Okay. I like this one. I like this one. I kind of like this one, but the problem is we are a fire user. A lot of our spells are going to be channeling spells, so that's going to take away at least half of the usage on this. And if the alt cooldown is so long, I don't think we'll get a lot of value out of this. I think it's really going to depend on if we're going to end up getting a lot of artifact, which I think we will, because some of the artifacts are really strong. The Gong one is really, really good. This one's just funny because we pretty much will gain an item every time we dual meditate, and who knows, maybe the item can be really good. It could just be random, like here's a hardwood that I farmed from a mob, take it. So it could be terrible, right? Whereas this, I can get material benefits and I can control the outcome here, and I don't have to feel like I'm whoring myself out for items. Yeah, we're gonna get the red tier one. We're gonna get Hua Wu, and we're gonna try to get more artifacts moving forward. Alright, as you successfully tier up, you open your eyes. You see that you're inside your ring, which holds all the item, right? Your ring is what holds items in the game. It opens up more slots in your inventory. You can see from your ring that your artifacts are spilling over all across the floor. Just as you're trying to return them into your storage, an elder comes across, and in his hand he has a string of beads as he's, playing with the beads. And as he's playing with the beads gives off this eerie light. And this light is absorbed into the elder's body. Feels really mythical. And you pick up one of your artifacts and you look at it. And then you see this, beam of energy emits out from your artifact into your body. Seeing this situation, you have this understanding, epiphany, right? So you realize in regards to artifact, you need more of them. 应当多盘才是盘. Ooh, this is a joke. This is a meme. Well, it's not really a meme. So this comes from actual cultural tradition with a lot of wooden artifact. So in China, there's a particular interest among we're talking about real world artifact, right? Artifacts from different historical periods, collectors. And what they do is they take wooden objects and they play it with them in their hands. And the purpose is to rub the oil that your skin secrete onto the wood to keep it polished and apply this kind of almost, when metal, or especially copper, when they age, there's this gleam on them. And they're trying to achieve this gleam on the wooden object, and we call this pan. So with wooden beads or with walnuts, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chinese elders playing with 2 walnuts in their hand. They will rotate the walnut within their palm, 2 walnuts, sometimes 3, but most likely 2. And they're trying to kind of, exercise their hand in a sense, because walnuts have a lot of ridges. So it kind of applies small pressure to your hand. But at the same time, they're trying to pan the walnuts by emitting, secreted oil from your skin onto the walnut to give them a different gleam over time. And there are pairs of walnuts that are worth tremendous amount because they've been panned for, almost 100 years by different people. And they have this, maybe a reddish gleam or different gleam. And they're basically saying you should play around with your artifact more and they will be better incorporated into you here. So that's kind of interesting here. And we get a bunch of stats. 40 more years to our max life, 40 points of Dao points, 59 attack, 40 defense, 1,340 health, 160 mana, Fortitude goes up 175, crit percentage, crit defense percentage, physical resistance, magical resistance, life again. I think this is from one item, so 60 years in between this one, and then movement speed. And if you want to tier up again, we're going to have to use something called Juling, and it's quite similar. We need to go to dungeons to pick up these 3 items. They're going to be in the mountain zone in between the 2 provinces going forward. And then we also need to kill the spawned monster creature in the mountain region too. And then we'll get these 4 pieces that we need. And then we need to craft this. This is going to require a recipe and some ingredient. And we should do fine. Alrighty. So we're done here. And we want to set ourselves up with a level up tournament. We might fail this one because in 3 months, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to learn the required manuals that we'll need. But we do want to tier up all the way to Elder to at least buy this. This is our goal. This is our secret manual for our sect. I don't think it's the strongest one, but essentially is whenever you apply Lie Yan, which is a fire attribute that creates a fire ground. So like our fox move creates one of them, the fiery ground on the ground, the flaming ground on the ground. Yeah, I mean that's right. It does 326 damage per turn, but whenever we kill someone in the ground, means the fire ground we create kills someone, we get something called a stack of Huo Shen, or Fire God. When we get 4 stacks of that, we can cast our ult. That's a requirement. And then we'll get a flaming phoenix flying in from one side of the map all the way to the other side, and it will shoot flames onto the ground that it passed. So it will leave this huge burn mark on the ground, and it says 244 width burn mark that will apply this Lie Yan on the ground, and it will deal 329 damage of fire for the next 30 seconds. So massive area of the ground will be painted in fire. It will do damage to the enemy, and that's sort of how you kill people. So it's a little bit different than our current fire core, which leaves kindlings on the ground when we use a channeling spell to kill someone. So this one doesn't require a channel spell, but it requires something that can leave a burn mark on the ground. So we're gonna have to find, some attack that does that. Our current Fox move does that, but we're probably gonna switch different move sets, which I'm totally open to. And if we get to Grand Elder, then we have options to pick up some fire related. This will be physical defense that gives additional mana and defense and attack if our fire talent is over 110, which we obviously already have 150 points, so that would work perfectly. And then this one would be crit chance, which we currently don't even have one in terms of our passive. It will give us extra defense, extra attack if our health, if our fortitude goes up, If we have an orange or red tier alt, the cooldown of that will go down by 10%. If we have an orange or red tier special attack, the cooldown of that will go down by 11.1%. Obviously, these can be re-rolled to higher numbers, and this will just increase our crit damage essentially, or crit chance. And then this would be a magic resist, and this has more interesting attribute. This is probably the one I really want, because it says that for every stack of burn we applied on enemy, our 烈焰 damage, or the burning ground damage, goes up by 1.18, maximum of 8.26%. Anytime we use up a burning soul on ourselves, our basic attack or our mana using attack has a 9.1% chance of causing burn on enemies. So basically there's a lot of synergies for different buffs, and anytime we stack burn with 7 stack of burn, we start recovering mana every second for 1 point. Every flaming ground we cause increase our damage by 2.95% for the next 5 seconds. So I think if we ult with this, our damage just goes through the roof, right? Because we'll leave so much burning ground that this would just go off the chart. Oh, maybe it doesn't stack. Maybe it's just 2.95%. Yeah, then it's less good, but still decent. This is probably the one I want to buy the most. So we will stay behind. We will try to grind ourselves to Grand Elder. Obviously, for us to get there, we're going to have to break through these points to give stats on both of these points, and we have to learn the manual. We'll start with trying to become a core disciple, and that's where we're at. So this is a fairly short episode because we just wanted to tier up. We'll do some of the boring grinding part of learning the manual in between episodes, and we'll come back next week with 2 episodes where we will do more of the main quest line and show off some of our new abilities learned in this tier. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and see you all next time. Bye!